What's happening in West Texas sports from the high schools through the colleges? We have your answers. From the Permian Basin to the South Plains to the Texas Panhandle, we have you covered. I'm Greg Kerr, the host of West Texas Sports Xtra, and these four gentlemen you see are our expert panelists. We'll start off with Zach Woodard, Sports Director at KFDA in Amarillo, Pete Christie, Sports Director at KCBD in Lubbock, and Jensen Young, Sports Director at KOSA in Odessa. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being along again this week. Last week we covered some great stuff. Going to be the same this week as well. A lot going on. So first of all, let's just kind of introduce ourselves a little bit to our viewers. Zach, start it off.
Well, like you mentioned, Greg, I am the sports director here at News Channel 10 KFDA. I've been working. This is my first job straight out of college. I've been here with News Channel 10 for just under 2 years, straight out of Arizona State. Got the call the day before I graduated, actually, that I was going to be getting the position. So that made graduation even sweeter. I didn't have to worry about the lulls and the putting in 110 applications. It worked out in my favor. So I had my future secured and hit the ground running. I've loved it ever since, and just fully embrace the Texas Panhandle sports world. I definitely did not see this many teams and this much work coming this way, but I've enjoyed every single moment of it.
And Pete, you're a fixture on local television sets in Lubbock now for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I'm in my second stint, 23 years combined. We love covering tech and all the schools here, about 85 high schools. And listen, Greg, let me get it out of the way right now. Texas Tech did the guys a favor. They beat Arizona, #1 at the time. But last night, Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. Zach, let's get it out of the way right off the top. Go ahead, say something.
Pete, you had to bring that up.
If it wasn't for the JT Toppin injury, I would feel much better, because I really do enjoy watching Toppin, and you always hate to see that. But I am disappointed in Arizona State to see the 12 people that rushed the floor afterwards, because alongside with myself, nobody in Tempe thought that was coming. So nobody even showed up to the game to celebrate it the way we should have.
Well, hopefully we'll get another chance at you in the Big 12 tourney. So.
All right, Pete, tell us about a little of your background.
Oh, well, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be a good athlete, so I said the next best thing is to talk about sports. And I went to Syracuse in New York, and they always said, we can't promise you the job, we can promise you the interview. And that has really held true. I've got some good interviews, got some good jobs, and I was born to do this. I'm going to do it all the way as long as I can. So too blessed to be stressed.
Right on. All right, Jensen, how about you?
Well, originally from Florida, from the beautiful Sunshine State, went to the University of Florida. Go Gators, by the way. I know that's maybe not the most popular with the Texas Longhorns in the SEC now, but as a Gator, go Gators. But yeah, out here in Odessa, Texas for coming up on 3 years now, and doing sports for actually about 2 years to the date at this point. I think next week will be my 2 years doing sports out here in the Permian Basin. So it's been an absolute blast, and I'm living out Friday Night Lights, which that's one of the few things I knew before coming out here, but it's been an absolute blast.
And I am the news anchor at KFDA in Amarillo. I did sports, though, for 30 years roughly, from Texas to Illinois to Oklahoma City to North Carolina, and to Fox Sports Southwest in Irving. So I've been around the block a few times doing sports, covered a few Super Bowls along the way, some Final Fours, and just a long time passion for sports. I played college basketball at a junior college at Weatherford and also at Central Oklahoma. So much like Pete, I knew I wasn't going to play in the NBA. So what do? Well, you try to be a sports guy, I guess. And so it all kind of worked out, and really enjoy living in the Texas Panhandle. All right, guys, stand by. When we come back, we're going to talk college basketball, men's side, and we'll talk, of course, to Pete about the JT Toppin situation with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. We're coming right back. We are back with West Texas Sports Extra. I'm Greg Kerr. Let's bring in Pete Christie right off the top here, because not only did Arizona State beat Texas Tech last night, but Pete, also a possible loss, or what is the situation right now as you know it with their outstanding player JT Toppin?
Yeah, he went down with an apparent right leg or knee issue. And after the game, Coach McCaslin said he's going to be, obviously by now, he's gotten looked at. No word has been given out yet. But, he's one of the heart and soul players of this team. And what a loss it would be. I mean, he averages a double-double almost every game. He's in his second year with Tech. And what a big loss that would be. But he went down pretty awkwardly, and hopefully it's not anything too serious that would end his season. But we got fingers crossed on that. The Red Raiders definitely need him to make a push. With him, they really got a chance to go far. But big setback last night, losing that game to Arizona State. And they even had a chance late, had a chance at the free throw line to tie it, and they didn't make it. But they were down 10 late, got it down to 3, got it down to 2, and man, they still had a chance to win that game. And so, the toughest team wins, and in this case, they couldn't get it done. But they're back home Saturday. They got Kansas State. They're 19-6 right now, 9-4 in the conference, and got to keep playing hard. I mean, every game is tough in the Big 12, and I know Grant McCaslin has got other guys getting playing time, and they're stepping up. And somebody, if JT Toppin can't go, they're going to have to step in, next man up, and keep going for the Red Raiders.
You look at the Texas Tech resume, what they've beaten 3 top 5 teams with Duke, Houston, and Arizona. I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but I guess finding this consistency now as we start heading toward the tournament.
Yeah, they beat, it was one of those teams. Maybe it was Duke. I mean, they beat somebody, and then they lost to Central Florida. They beat number 1 Arizona, lost to Arizona State. So they've had a couple losses in there that I know they wish they could get back. But now you got Kansas State coming to town. They just let their coach go. I mean, this has got to be the 20th win of the year for Texas Tech, and they're 13-1 at home. Got to get back to the winning ways and keep going. They've been moving up the polls. They moved up to 13. They'll slide a little bit now, and got to keep going. So before you know it, the tourney's here.
Yeah, that whole Kansas State thing was they fired their coach because he's bad-mouthing the team. That's a whole different story. So they need to jump on them quick and bury him for sure. All right, Zach Woodard, how about West Texas A&M? But the real story out of the Texas New Mexico area is Eastern New Mexico. This club's on fire, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Eastern New Mexico has been one of the more dazzling teams in the area. I know I said it last week, but I think, and if there is any shock, it was not coming from inside of Portales. They had their success kind of mapped out with the guys they were bringing back, and safe to say that everything that they thought was going to happen is coming to fruition. Currently ranked number 9, sitting at 21-3, 14-2 in the LSC. Second place behind DBU at 15-2. So technically not out of the race yet. Still the same amount of losses. Just need a couple more wins to solidify that spot when the conference tournament comes around. But talking with Coach Tom Brown at West Texas A&M before they even get started, he called Jose Murillo the best player in the conference, and you look at what he's doing on a night-to-night basis. He's averaging 16-9 and holding down the fort of a really, really solid defensive team in the Greyhounds. So they have gotten some pretty big wins. They're on a great win streak right now, and they'll get to test their strength of schedule on the road now. They go to International in Kingsville, so they get the trip around that WT is also on when they swap places there. But Eastern New Mexico has been phenomenal. WT still struggling a little bit, 17-9, 9-7. They're tied for 7th in the LSE, so right on the cusp of missing the conference tournament, which is almost unheard of with Coach Brown calling the shot. So the Buffs are definitely going to have to get things together very, very fast. They want to extend their season past the regular season, and that is rapidly coming to a close. But I kind of want to piggyback off of what Pete said. Definitely no gloating involved with Arizona State winning, although that is my alma mater. I needed that. But this almost certainly secures a potential Big 12 championship for Texas Tech if the football sides of things tells us anything about this rivalry. Whoever wins that game loses the Big 12 championship, and the loser of that game goes on to win it. So there's some bright spots in the future for the Red Raiders basketball team, Pete. Take that one and run with it.
Hey, I like your tie, by the way.
Greg went with the red and blue. It's a symbol of U of A, so I had to counteract it with some maroon and gold with some Arizona State flair.
I didn't pull that off for Arizona. I was just thinking very SMU-like. I'm from Dallas, so I like SMU. Not smart enough to go there, nor athletically gifted enough to go to SMU either. But that's another story. All right, Jensen, how much? What's going on down in the WJCAC with Midland and Odessa?
Sure, yeah, we're still talking about the two teams being good, but right on the cusp of getting into that conference tournament. Midland sitting fourth in the conference standings right now. Odessa, who will be hosting the conference tournament, is sitting in fifth, just a game behind them. So it's a situation of both teams control their own destiny of getting into the conference tournament. Odessa hosting it really wants to get in there, and they have some very difficult games, including against New Mexico Junior College, who is also in the conference tournament as of this moment, as is Howard College over in Big Spring in our coverage area as well. Howard College has really still been the team to beat when it comes to men's basketball in the WAC-JAC. They, I think, still just the two losses in conference. So Howard College, the Hawks really going strong. Odessa College has games, like I said, against Howard College and against New Mexico Junior College to try to get in and steal one of those spots. And if they do, they would, like I said, jump over Midland, who's in fourth place right now. So all to play for really going into the last couple of weeks of conference play. As far as the UT Permian Basin men's team, they have now lost 3 games straight. So mathematically, they are still able to get in at 4 games back of the 8th spot, which would get them into the conference tournament. However, there are 4 games to go, so they would need to win out and have a lot of teams lose. And winning out is also going to be a very tough challenge because 2 of their final 4 games are against Eastern New Mexico and against Lubbock Christian, both in the top 10 nationally and in the top 3 of the Lone Star Conference standings. So it is mathematically possible, but quite unlikely, I would say.
All right, we're closing in on conference tournaments all over the place, so it should be a lot of fun to watch. When we come back on West Texas Sports Extra, we'll delve into women's college basketball. So stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, women's college basketball. Time to talk about what's going on in the Big 12 and the junior college ranks, along with the Lone Star Conference and wherever else we can find some good women's college basketball. Zach, let's start things off with you. Right now, West Texas A&M is sitting pretty good at this point, right?
I mean, they're number 11 in the country right now, sitting at 22-3, 14-2 in conference. So they do need a little bit of luck. They need Texas women's to lose a couple if they want to get that top spot in the LSC. But based off of how they've been playing this year, it's unlikely, but it is not impossible. But the Lady Buffs have definitely held strong. They have 3 losses on the year, and each time they have lost, they have responded with a win. So some games that they should have won that they thought they could have, including the one against Eastern New Mexico, that overtime loss. But the other 2, you look at it, one was the Grand Valley State, who's number 1 in the country. The other one was the Texas Women's, who's number 3. So definitely not anything to be too upset about. And the Lady Buffs have had a great year, and they want to continue that on. They get on that same road stretch that I was talking about with the men's team of going to Kingsville and International for the next couple of days. So it'll be a long trip for the Lady Buffs, but they have played in Hawaii this year, so nothing that they are too familiar with. I'm sure it's a lot easier to get down to Laredo than it is to get onto the plane and go to Hawaii. So they have traveled very, very well. They have great depth on this team. They have 3 players averaging above 10 points per game, with Kyla Kane, the former Wellington Lady Rocket, leading the charge with 13. So lots of players that can score, lots of players that can pass, and you see that come to fruition. And then on the flip side, with their rival with Eastern New Mexico, they had a big win over WT that kind of sparked some momentum into their season. Currently sitting 15-9, 11-5 in the conference, tied for 5th. So they have their spot as of now, if all things go right, to be a tough out team in March. They are the records don't tell the stories. They compete with teams that dominate across the season like WT. So the Greyhounds women's team also looking to get their name into the conversation as one of those teams to be afraid of when March comes around. So they're on the road at International tomorrow, and then they will be in Kingsville on Saturday. So rapidly coming to a close, 4 more games, and then that is it. And we are into March, and we are into conference tournaments.
Hey, no offense, but Laredo, Hawaii, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the trip itself, they definitely enjoyed Hawaii. And I was talking with Coach Prock. They said, I'm offended you didn't ask me to be like an honorary ball boy or something. I would have rebounded some shots or done whatever I needed to do to get on that plane to Hawaii. So he said next time if they go again, he might consider giving me a call. So I'm going to hold him to that.
Well, you know what they say, Zach? Aloha means hello and goodbye. Did you know that?
I did not know. Thank you. Thank you.
That's what we do here.
No.
We educate.
Go ahead and write that down, Zach.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's a mental note.
All right, Jensen, let's stick with the Lone Star Conference. Permian Basin's, they're hanging around looking for a spot in that tournament.
They sure are. Yeah, number 7 currently in the conference standings. So similar to what I was talking about with some of the men's teams for our JUCO teams, destiny is in their hands. They are a game and a half out of 10th place, which would have them 2 spots out of the conference tournament. So White is very tight in the standings when it comes to the last couple of spots to get in, but the Falcons are currently sitting in 7th place with a 9-7 conference record, tied with Texas A&M International. So we'll see what happens there in terms of the seeding come the end of the year. But going into the last 4 games, they have their last 2 home games this week, tomorrow against Midwestern State, and then this weekend against LCU. So definitely should be some interesting ones there. Coach Ray Booth was saying that she would much rather her team win these 2 games so that they don't have to really worry too much about next week. But Lubbock Christian is definitely going to be a difficult one to get done this Saturday at home. In terms of some JUCO basketball, really highlighting Howard College again over in Big Spring. They are 2nd in the conference to Clarendon College. So the Lady Hawks still running away. It looks like Howard College is really the team to beat in West Texas in terms of both men's and women's basketball in JUCO. So looking at Howard College being good and UT Permian Basin hopefully getting into the conference tournament. Right now they are in if it ends today.
Right, and Pete, same can be said for the Texas Tech Lady Red Raiders. They're knocking on the door at the top spot right now, right?
Yeah, they just had a tough loss at Oklahoma State. Just shots could not fall, and that's one they really wanted to have. But, man, Oklahoma State came in 12-1 at home, and they got the win. So the Lady Raiders dropped down to number 20 in the polls tonight. Huge game. Number 20 Texas Tech hosting number 15 Baylor. Tech is 10-4 in the Big 12. Baylor and TCU are both 11-3. Tech has already beaten Baylor in Waco. If they can get this one, it's the sweep. And then Tech has also already beaten TCU. They do not play again. So if Tech can win this one, they'd be tied with Baylor, which would be ahead of them. And then they just got to get one game up to even tie TCU. They would have the tiebreaker to win the Big 12. So as Coach Gerlich said, tonight's game, not just for conference movement, but also for NCAA tournament. And the latest projections 2 weeks ago, I mentioned they had Tech as a 6 seed, Oklahoma as a 3 seed, and having that tournament in Norman. And now this week, they have Tech as a 5 seed, and they have Oklahoma as a 4 seed. And again, still having Tech going to Norman. That would be interesting with Aaliyah Chavez out there just crushing it. But, you can't even look at that. That's not only putting the cart before the horse, that's talking about before you even have a horse. So we'll see what happens.
All right, yeah, having Chavez in the building and the Red Raiders on the other side of the floor, that would certainly sell some tickets. I was trying to figure out how she even got out of Lubbock. How'd that happen? Well, that's probably a story for another day, right?
Money.
Oh, my gosh. You are correct, sir. All right. Anything else? Lone Star Conference, Lubbock Christian, they're doing okay in the running and all
Lubbock
that?
Christian women obviously doing well. Steve Gomez does such a great job. I know they're in the top 20, and they're rocking when they get at the Rip Griffin Center. And so we're keeping an eye on them as well. And Wayland Baptist women not having the year they usually have, but we were just out there. They beat the College of the Ozarks And then South Plains, highly ranked, and we get out there to the Texan Dome in Levelland. So women's college basketball really big in the Lubbock area.
All right, Pete, thank you. When we come back, we're going to talk high school basketball. The girls now are in the playoffs, and the boys are headed that way. Stick around. West Texas Sports Extra continues in a moment. We are back with West Texas Sports Extra. As I mentioned, the girls are now in the playoffs and the boys are headed that way very shortly. So it is that time of year when it's tournament time and the drive toward the state championship is wide open. Just don't make any detours because you might get lost. Let's start things off with Pete, who's going to be talking about some high school basketball down on the South Plains. You are gifted with some good schools, much like right here in the Panhandle as well, right, Pete?
Yeah, we had 49 teams in our viewing area make the playoffs on the girls' side. And after this first round, when the dust has settled, we still have 32. A lot of teams won. And the one I want to mention is Friendship Memorial. Jason Cooper was the coach with the Flying Queens and Wayland Baptist. He left to become the head coach of this new school in Lubbock. They only have freshmen and sophomores. They're ranked 15th in Class 4A, and they just went and beat Stephenville by, I think, at least 17 points. I was shocked. I mean, but these girls were hitting threes, and so Friendship Memorial moves on. They are playing Decatur, I believe, in the next round. But Friendship won as well. Seminole won. Monterey got a big win. Monterey's playing El Paso Burgess. And these girls, I mean, most of the playoff games were Monday and not Tuesday. And then I'm already looking, most of the games are Thursday and not Friday. So it is boom, boom, boom. And a lot of teams playing. New Deal beat Hale Center last night. That one caught my eye as well. And the coach of the New Deal Lady Lions is Jarek Black, who I believe was up at WT as well, but he was a stud playing at Shallowater football. He also played basketball, and that game last night was at Shallowater, and the Shallowater crowd was there cheering for New Deal because they were cheering for one of their own. Coach Black, in his first year, gets a playoff win with New Deal, and they advance on.
All right, Jensen, what's going on down in the Permian Basin? Any teams standing out in your mind?
Yes, it was a bit of a tough go for our higher classification teams. We had two 6As making it in. That was Permian and Legacy. Permian lost by 9 points to El Paso Franklin, and Legacy hosted El Paso Eastlake. Lost by just 1 point, really came down to the last shot. Legacy had the last shot, put the ball up, didn't get in the hoop, so Eastlake takes it there. All of our 4As lost. That was Andrews, Fort Stockton, and Greenwood. They all are out. So we are looking at 3A, 2A, and 1A. Coahoma, like I've been talking about a little bit here and there, they are really the ones to watch for a state championship. Still just the one loss, and they took it to Tornillo. 79-11 was the final score of that game. So Coahoma is looking dangerous as they have been all season long. Stanton beat fellow Permian Basin foe in Alpine. Stanton got a big win by at least 20 points. I don't remember the exact margin, but it was a 20-plus point victory there. A lot of our 1As moving along, so really looking to see what we can do in that bottom division, or the bottom classification there, 1A. We have Garden City going to be going up against Rankin. So that would be a good Permian Basin battle there. Garden City looking really strong, having been undefeated in district. Rankin took down an undefeated district champion in Balmorhea, so really looking for some good battles there. In terms of our boys teams, one thing I definitely want to highlight is the Coahoma Bulldogs. The girls team obviously doing fantastic. The boys team is going to be making the postseason, but one thing that happened in their final game of the regular season, Landon Wells, who is a senior for them, became the career leader in all-time points scored and also rebounds. So congratulations to Landon Wells. He's doing a great job, and his Bulldogs will be in the playoffs. In terms of some 6As to finish us out there, we have Legacy and Permian also making it for the boys' side. Midland and Odessa missing the postseason in both girls basketball and boys basketball. We'll see if they can pick it up next year, but we will have Midland, Legacy, and Permian representing 6A in the boys basketball.
All right. And Zach, out of the Texas Panhandle, I think we had a shocker the other night, did we not, with Amarillo High losing?
Yeah, definitely was not on my bingo card to see the Lady Sandies go down round one. But credit to Wichita Falls Legacy for their hard-fought game and getting a 2-point win over a team that is known to go deep into the playoffs and have these crazy runs, but just didn't have it that night. And that's why you play these games. That on paper one team should win, but that's why you get out there on the floor, you play the games, and you see who comes out on top. So Amarillo High definitely one of the shockers to see go down, but. To Jensen's point with Coahoma, Coahoma had a great first round, but here comes the Canadian Lady Cats off of an overtime win over Slayton to match up with them in the area round. That was one of the best games that I have seen in a long time, just to see the back and forth. There was 4 or 5 lead changes in the last 30 seconds. And Kylie Cavalier, the senior for the Lady Cats, pulls it off in the end to push them to the next round. So they are riding high off of an overtime. Hopefully that didn't take too much out of the gas tank as they continue on to the postseason. But they are matched up with Coahoma, so that is going to be one that we are on the lookout for. But, looking at all of the games that we had, I think that the game that kind of stands out for me on the girls' side is the Tascosa Lady Rebels. To score 103 points in 8-minute quarters in the postseason is absolutely phenomenal, especially for a first-year head coach in Zach Tabor. The girls that he has now were all there last year, but he is missing one of their key pieces in Emily Sims, who was out for the year with a knee injury, who will not be coming back. So to do this without your point guard, to have plug-and-play players to come in and pick up the slack, to score 100 at any point is phenomenal, but to do that in the postseason against a team who has made themselves a playoff contender is even more special. So like Pete was mentioning, we had 41 going into the bi-district. We're down to 23, so not as much work on that side, which, it is what it is. It's a little bit nicer to not have to count 32 teams and games and dates and times, but 23 still standing as they get on. And then on the boys' side, we have 36 that are going to head into the bi-district round. So all wheels are turning. And like Pete was talking about too, we had Monday and Tuesday, and we actually have a Wednesday game on the girls' side that got delayed and postponed due to the high winds yesterday. So we have Crest and Boys Ranch playing tonight at Hereford, 6 o'clock, and that one will determine who Claude plays in the area round. So we know for sure it'll be one of our teams playing one of our teams. We just don't know which one yet. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, bi-district round still going on, and then we get the area round Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the boys start. So it is nothing but business until the Alamo Dome in early March.
And just double checking on this, the boy bi-district start this week or next week?
Next week. So they start Monday and Tuesday, the same time that girls are into the regional semis. So as they're going, there's no space. The UIL doesn't go, okay, here's boys, give the girls a break, right, and then here's girls. It is all at once, and the UIL says deal with it. So we deal with it.
It's that time of year. I call it the be good or be gone time, and that's what it is, right?
Yes.
All right, when we come back on West Texas Sports Extra, we are going to talk baseball and softball, so stick around. We're coming right back. We've been talking so much basketball here in the last many minutes. We're going to switch now to what's happening on the diamond with baseball and softball. And Pete, let's start it off with you. Texas Tech softball off to a blazing start, but ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw the last few days ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to number 8 Nebraska, so that has dropped them to number 2 right now. Tennessee is the new number 1, but Texas Tech's 11-1, getting ready to go to California. Thursday, they will play Fresno State like at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, and then after that, they have an exhibition game against Japan, which is going to be outstanding. 8 p.m. I assume that's going to be on ESPN or ESPN 2 or 5 or 7 or U or H or whatever it is. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, what a game for them. And then I made a note here. They got Bethune-Cookman, Cal State Fullerton, San Diego State, UC Riverside. And then finally, the following week, they'll be home here for some home games after playing like 17 or 18 games. But still, Coach Glasgow told me, we expect to lose some of these games. We're not playing cream puffs. They've already beaten number 11, Texas A&M. They beat number 23. Who was that? UC Florida somebody. And so
What
then to
else?
lose to Houston, I think it was Florida International,
Oh, there we
Florida
go.
Atlantic. It was Florida Atlantic. Wes
Okay.
Kitley is there from Tech, and then now they lose to Nebraska, and just they were up, and then Nebraska got some runs, and then their pitcher is outstanding and shut them down. But Tech beat Nebraska last year, and I'm sure they're going to see them again. So playing a lot of top teams that you expect to see in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series. So Tech off to an 11-1 start.
Yeah, not bad at all, and we're
No.
expecting that out of Texas Tech for sure. But you play a tough murderer's row type of schedule like that, it should make you better come March and April on down the line into summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Nigeri Kennedy not pitching every game like she had been. They've got some new players in, so a lot of depth for this team, including some great at bats, and they've been racking up runs after runs. 10 runs in this game, 14 in this game. So just got shut down by Nebraska, but I'm sure they're ready to go this week as they go to California for another 6 games, 5 that count, 1 with Japan.
I sure hope they're having study halls on the road, right?
Well, I would hope so. It's called student athlete, not
Right.
athlete.
That's right. Thank you for the reminder there, Pete. I need that sometimes now with the state of college athletics.
Yeah, but with the money they make, they might think it's only a job and it's not school. I don't know, because some of these kids are seeing more money than they're going to see when they get out of these sports in college.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think a lot of kids, they turn down scholarships because they don't want to make it a job, but it is a job. Even regardless of what you're being paid or just full scholarship. But again, we digress. That's a whole different topic for sure. All right, Zach, the West Texas A&M baseball team and Eastern New Mexico baseball teams off to a relatively slow start, but that West Texas A&M softball club is starting out red hot.
Yeah, I think the Lady Buffs might need the same NIL deal that the Lady Raiders are getting down there in Lubbock. I did see that Nigeri became the first and the second player to get $1 million NIL deal, so huge congrats to her and paving the way for a lot of these players, especially at the D2 level, who see that and know that they have the capabilities to get there one day. And I think this Lady Buffs team is full of them, currently ranked number 9 in the country, 12-2. A little bit early to see 2 losses with a Coach Michael Mook team, but they picked it back up. They went to Eastern New Mexico to get Lone Star Conference play underway, and they won both of those games. So they'll be back home for their home opener. This will be the first time we've seen the Lady Buffs in Canyon all season, taking on Cameron. That one is they play on the 20th at 4 and 6 p.m. So there's something special about Schaefer Park. Coach Mook has talked about it a lot, and one thing that I love that he said was that our fans know the game of softball. They know when to cheer. They know what they're cheering about. It's just not go out there, sit around and just watch a bunch of players run out on the field. They know exactly what they're cheering for. So they'll be back home for the first time. Hopefully that gives them a little bit more spark to continue a great year. And, Eastern New Mexico at the same time, same as their baseball team, still kind of finding their footing, still struggling a little bit within these early games. But with the Lone Star Conference now starting and they're getting their player underway, hope to find their footing. And WT Baseball, in the same breath, finally gets their first series win of the year. Still 4 and 6 on the year, but they took 3 out of 4 on the road against Eastern. And Coach Corey Hall has been nothing but optimistic about his guys, and they're still dealing with the injury bug a little bit. They went to Eastern without their starting pitcher and 2 of their relievers. So to be able to come out of that with a 3-1 win, shorthanded in the bullpen, is impressive in itself. So still a lot more room to go, still a lot more games to be played. Thankfully, we get the Lady Buffs back home so we can get out there and watch a team that is championship or bust finally play on their home park, play at Schaefer Park. So definitely a lot to look forward to in the coming days.
Zach, I got to tell you, I was out riding my bike through downtown on Sunday, and I stopped by the Sod Poodles ballpark, and Amarillo College was playing on Sunday afternoon, and I was right down the line, down the left field line, kind of watching through the fence, and I said, okay, I'm going to stay one more pitch. And that pitch was a Badger home run. But I couldn't see where the ball went, so I couldn't go chase it down and take it home for a souvenir. But I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I just saw a home run ball hit in that ballpark, which is not unusual with the wind blowing out most of the time.
It is definitely a hitter-friendly ballpark. It might have been at City Hall. You might have had your best luck was getting over there towards City Hall to see if it had landed anywhere near. That seems to be a hot spot. And I've heard that if you're going to a Sod Poodles game or at AC Badgers baseball game, do not park your car anywhere near City Hall because you are in danger of replacing your windshield because of how far that ball flies. But thank you for the reminder, Greg. Yeah, AC baseball 3-8. They got their earlier this week, or actually last week, they got their third win against a top 5 ranked opponent in Blinn College. They just split the series with Kansas City Community. They get Garden City starting next week. So Hodgetown is a hot spot right now. We get AC baseball, and then before you know it, we're going to be talking about the Saudis coming into town to play at their own park. So AC baseball finding their footing as well, still trying to figure things out early on.
Absolutely. And Jensen, soon you'll have Midland Rockhound baseball coming up. But first off, Midland College, the baseball team is off to a pretty good start.
Very good start. Actually, in fact, both teams, the baseball team and the softball teams, I believe, are both still undefeated. I want to highlight the baseball team in this past weekend, or Friday, that would have been against Luna College. They put up 13 runs in 1 inning.
Whoa.
That's correct. And 12 of those runs came with no outs. Wow. It was a home run derby at Christensen Stadium. Oh my goodness gracious. I was there for it, and I said, this is like playing MLB The Show on beginner mode. And then I corrected myself because I don't think I could even do that on beginner mode. 12 runs with no outs was insane. The Shaps are on it to start off.
But you know what, hey Jensen, that's a sportscaster's dream though. You get your highlights real quick and you're out of there. You know, it's home run derby, you love it.
That was only in the third inning, so it definitely made my job easy. I was able to head on back and have a lot of footage to use. So thank you to the Shaps for really hitting the ball hard. And a little story with that, actually, one of the other reporters at another station here was at the game as well. And I was like, what is happening here? I was saying about how it felt like beginner mode on a video game. And he was saying, yeah, all we're missing at this point is a grand slam. 2 pitches later, a grand slam. Oh, my gosh, you can't write it better than that.
Hey, Pete, it sounds like Luna needs some pitching. You have any eligibility left? Loosen that arm up.
I think that it would be 20 runs in 1 inning if I started pitching for them. So I don't know if they want to do that. I do have eligibility, but I don't think they want my eligibility.
All right. So baseball's looking good right now with the Shaps, obviously. They can hit the long ball.
Very good, yes. As far as some other JUCO, I want to highlight some more softball with Odessa College softball. They started off the year preseason ranked number 6, still number 6. It was a tough first tournament against a lot of top 10 teams who were just invited to beat up on each other in the first games of the season, really figure out what your team is good at and what you have to work on. They sure did, because now they are undefeated so far in the month of February. So the Wranglers have actually, I talked to Coach Doug Eastman today. He said it wasn't really a thing of riding the ship because they had 2 games in that opening tournament, like I said, against Grayson College, who was number 3 at the time, and they split the 2 games. So when you beat number 3, doesn't matter where you're ranked, that's a good win. So the Wranglers are definitely on their way. As far as UT Permian baseball and softball, I really want to highlight the softball team. They didn't get any games this past week because of weather, so the games were canceled. So they are still 7-2 through 9 games, and that is still the best start through 9 games on record. The record books don't go all the way back to the beginning of the program, but as far as back as they do go, this is the best start through 9 games. So maybe we are watching out for UTPB softball. This week, they are starting Lone Star Conference play up in Lubbock against the Lubbock Christian team. So that should be a good one to start out conference play.
All right, and won't be long now as Texas Tech moves into its baseball season a little bit more. And we've got the major league, minor league camps breaking soon. So we'll have the Midland Rockhounds reporting. We'll have the Amarillo Sod Poodles reporting. So we'll be able to get into more baseball. And it won't be long for you guys to start talking baseball and your teams. When we come back, the guys are lined up to kick their extra points. You'll want to hear this because I'm sure Pete's got something for us, just like last week with the whole Valentine thing. But we'll talk about that after this quick break. All right, time to kick our extra points. I'm thinking I kind of have one, but it's really kind of random. Over the weekend, I was watching what's it on, Prime or not Netflix, one of them, but it's a documentary they've done on the old ABA. And if you're older like I am, you remember the ABA. That was the league with the red, white, and blue basketball. And in fact, my beloved Dallas Chaparrals, when they couldn't get any fans in the stands in Dallas, they decided to branch out. They played games in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Lubbock, Pete. Now, this was back in 1970, 71, I think, that they would come out to Lubbock and play a few games because they were just looking for fans. And it was only a couple of years later that the Chaparrals moved to San Antonio and became the Spurs. But I'm watching this show. It's called Soul Power, and it's a several-part documentary. I watched 3 of them, and I just absolutely love it because I love to reminisce about the old days, and I love the ABA, so that was a lot of fun. Okay, who are we starting off with first? Zach, how about your extra point?
You are cracking me up with reminiscing about the old days because that is, I can sit here and confirm that is 1,000,000% true, which is actually kind of a great segue. Yesterday we had a great conversation at the Canyon ISD presser, and I made the mistake of mentioning this in front of basketball coaches, but we got on the topic of LeBron versus Jordan, and I think we talked about that longer than it needed to be. So my extra point for the week, because I was the minority in this, I'm going to come out and say it on record. When we talk about the greatest player to ever touch a basketball, his name is LeBron James. And I'm going to put that on record because all of the coaches were upset with me for saying that. And everybody loves Jordan, and he's a close second in my book. But my extra point is LeBron James is the greatest player to ever touch a basketball.
Oh, Pete, let me get you in here. Maybe you can play off of that. I know, we've been around a little while. We saw Jordan play.
Yeah. I've never seen Jordan flop. I mean, I love James, but he flops too much.
Thank you.
He's out. He's out. Sorry.
Get him out. Get him out.
Yeah, I got to go Jordan all the way. So, my point, I was just telling the guys, Hoop Madness we do on Friday nights. I'm missing my first one. I'm heading out to Little Elm. We're going to go watch my son play tennis with Coronado. They're at Little Elm this weekend. He's a senior, so I'm out on that. But I do want to mention, I guess I love circuses because Netflix announced 2 of the women who have really helped make MMA. Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano are going to fight May 16th on Netflix. They're both coming out of retirement. I'm all over that. I can't wait. That's crazy to me. But that money talks.
Yeah,
I
that's
probably
right.
would get hit in the face too if you give me a lot of money.
At the same breath, I just saw Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson inked a fight in April.
Yes.
So
Are you serious?
We get Ronda Rousey back. We get Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson in an exhibition in April. So we've got some good fights coming up.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, guys. And Pete, we don't necessarily want to get all the details of your Valentine's because you were really playing it up last week. We don't want to get all the, get in the weeds with that, but did it go well for you?
Of course it went well. I mean, but every day's Valentine's with my girlfriend. I treat her right
beautiful.
all the time. So it was great, though. It was great. We went to dinner, did the flowers, did the gifts. Love is love.
That's beautiful. Again, a beautiful sentiment.
Book it.
All right, I'm going to go real quick. Just play off Zach. Zach, do not comment, but I'm going to say Jordan #1, Bird 1A.
Yep, I saw that coming. There's very few things you can say anymore that's going to surprise me, Greg.
All right, Jensen, how about your extra point?
Well, I'm going to hop in on that conversation as well. Zach, I hate to say it, but you are staying in the minority of the LeBron pick. I feel like when you were in middle school, you had to either pick LeBron or Michael Jordan, and I picked Michael Jordan. And one of the biggest things that really stuck it for me in the last, I guess not last 12 months because the All-Star game just happened, but last year's All-Star game that LeBron said, "Oh, I'm not going to play." And then about 3 days later, he drops 40. LeBron, you were healthy to play. Come on now. Michael Jordan wouldn't be skipping an All-Star game. Come on.
That's right.
If you look at the All-Star viewership in these days, I mean, nobody's watching them play anymore. So I'm not putting my body on the line for the 12 people that may or may not turn on their TV. I didn't watch the All-Star game this year, so I don't blame LeBron for that.
I didn't either.
You know what? I watched the first game of that new tournament, but I heard that it actually was a lot more enjoyable than the past years. So maybe I'll start watching it again. As far as my local extra point, I want to highlight for UTPB baseball. The Falcons have 3 wins, and all 3 of those wins have come when Damian Robles has started the game. He's only credited with 2 of the wins, but all 3 of the wins, he has started the game. So maybe we're looking at Damian Robles being the undisputed ace of UT Permian Basin baseball. So good for him, good for UT Permian Basin. Get him out there as much as you possibly can at this point, because it's looking good whenever he's out there. So that's my extra point, but biggest extra point is Michael Jordan is the best.
That's the way we're going to leave it.
Get behind it.
Zach.
Can't get behind it. I can't get behind it. I'm sorry. I understand the argument. I hear the side of it. I don't think it's a crazy take. I just don't agree. That's all.
Hey, if you're watching us, chime in. You feel free to agree to disagree with what we're talking about. That's why we're doing this, to get involvement. So it's okay. And we all have our opinions, right?
But
so
mainly disagree with Zach.
That's a great idea.
I just mainly disagree with Larry Bird being better than LeBron James. I cannot get.
I can agree with you there, Zach.
I'm sorry.
I disagree with Zach on a daily basis. We're used to it. That's what we do, right,
yeah,
Zach?
That's exactly what we do. That's it.
All right, fellas. Thank you so much. Again, another brisk conversation on West Texas Sports Extra. We're coming back again next week. Have a good one.